I had plans with this girl. I was going to spend the rest of my life with her. And then all of a sudden, she just says, you know what? I have different plans, but I was the one who had to find it out. She didn't even have the nerve, the audacity to come and confront me about it. No, I had to find out for myself. Let me tell you what it was. The person I trust the most in this world has broken it, and I don't know how to go about things. Normally, when I have a problem, I go to my parents or someone at church. I did not ask strangers on the internet, but what's occurred is too big for the people in my life. I'm even ashamed at the idea of them knowing such a shameful secret. Especially when I don't know what to do with this, I've just found it out. I'm hoping that by asking you guys for help, I'll know what to do next. With that disclaimer out the way, let me get right into the meat and gravy. I'm 27 male and I have a girlfriend, Stacy. She's 25. Stacy and I have known each other our whole lives, but have only been dating for 2 years. When I went off to college, we lost contact for a bit. After college, I decided to relocate and work in another city. However, one of my visits to my family, I saw her again. We instantly just connected, as if we've never spent time apart. The more time I spent with her, the more I realized, hey man, I like this girl. Stacy is kind, honest, and God-fearing, which is what I like in a woman. After telling, her how I feel and talking to her for a bit, I realized that we had similar values and beliefs, and it only made sense for me to move back home and pursue a relationship with her. We've been going strong for 2 solid years, and I'm now at the point where I'm thinking of marriage. Our families are already close and we understand each other. It's a natural next step. In addition to our peers are also getting married, and when Stacy found out that her friend Debbie was getting married, she was happy for her. But I could tell that she wished the same for herself. Knowing her, I knew she would never pressure me to marry her. She would wait for me to ask her, and if it's a good thing that we are always on the same page, because I too feel it's time to get married, or at least I felt so until a couple days ago. Stacy has been very busy lately helping Debbie plan her wedding, so we haven't been able to see each other much. This has also given me time to start saving up for a ring and do some window shopping. I don't know the first thing about jewelry, and after looking around online, I was even more lost than before. So I had the good idea to ask Bradley, who is Debbie's fiance, for help since he had already proposed to Debbie. Bradley and I are quite friendly, and we visit each other often. When I asked him for help, he told me to pop up by his house anytime, which is what I did one afternoon. I had just gotten off work early, so instead of going home, I decided to go to his house. When I got there, the door was open, but nobody was in the home. I thought maybe he was in the other room, so I decided to check. I also wanted to make sure that he was okay since the door was just propped wide open and there was no one home. As I was in the living room, something caught my eye. It was Stacy's shoes. I was 100% certain of it that they were her shoes because no one else had shoes like this. She herself made those shoes because one of her feet has a different shape from the other. Well, this puzzled me because I had no idea that Stacy had gone to visit Brad. I figured that maybe she needed to consult with him about something related to the wedding. I should have left at that point, but I decided to find them and surprise them. I opened room after room, but found no one until I opened his bedroom. The only way to describe what I saw is that Stacy and Bradley were engaging in activities reserved for a couple. They were doing something that a married man and woman should be doing frequently. For a second, I stood there baffled because this was not making any sense. Not a lick of sense. I had to be dreaming or nightmares because why were, my head seeing images of my girlfriend and her friend's fiance together. I was frozen with shock, so much so that I did not make a sound. Instead, my hand went to my phone and immediately took a picture. I have no idea why I did that, but I'm glad for doing so. If I had not, I don't think that I would have believed my own eyes. I would have told myself that it was a trick of the light or that I was hallucinating, anything to not have to deal with the fact that Stacy has betrayed me. She's not only betrayed me, but is also having this promise that we made to save ourselves for marriage. When I was looking for a girlfriend, I needed someone who would be able to make that vow of chastity with me. Any girl that I tried to date would eventually bring up the topic of intimacy, and that would lead to the breakdown of our relationship. See, the fact that Stacy was not like that made me love her even more. Her ability to be so disciplined is what made me believe that she would be the perfect wife. I couldn't fathom what made her betray our vows for him. Out of everyone in this world, she had chose her best friend's fiance. It would have still hurt if it was anyone else, but did she have to strike so close to home base, knowing that she was going to hurt a lot of people she loved? That was nothing like her. She had flaws, but being selfish was not one of them. What made her do such a horrible thing? I'd been wanting to ask her about it, but every time I have, the words they cannot leave my mouth. After I left the house, I went back home and tried to process what I'd seen. For a very long time, I was very strangely calm. I could not quite fathom what I'd seen. I felt myself retreat from everything around me. I felt like I was out of my body for a couple of hours. And when she called me that night, I could not even answer the phone. When she texted me to ask if I was okay, I lied. It would have been better for me to send her the picture and ask her to explain herself, but I couldn't. I knew that by sending the picture, everything we had worked on was going to be destroyed. That was when the panic set in. I started to think of how our families would take this. They had so many hopes for the two of us, for our future, which had just been crashed by our actions. I also started to think of what the congregation would say. See, Stacy and I's relationship has always been used as a good example for the younger generation. We wanted them to know that it's possible to have a fulfilling relationship while still waiting for the right time to do certain things. I can't just imagine how many young people will lose hope because of what she's done. She's broken not only our relationship, but so many around us. Her best friend is never going to forgive her for this. She's going to lose a friendship of more than 10 years, all because of this moment of weakness. But then again, and a huge part of me wants to protect her even after all that she did. I don't want her to lose her friend, and I don't want her to be looked at differently by people in town. Those people can be very judgmental towards her, and I didn't want her to be subjected to some cruel words and actions. Plus, no matter what she's done, I still care about her, and my instinct is to protect her always. Sometimes I think of forgiving her until the pictures come to mind again and I feel like throwing up. To see her be like that with another man is gut-wrenching. I wonder what I could have done to prevent her from cheating on me. Was our love not enough? If it was the intimacy that she wanted from me, she would have not told me that she wanted to get married sooner. I would not have had any issue with it. If only she had communicated like a couple with me. I feel like this mess could have been avoided. I was saving up for an engagement ring, you know. I wanted to make her my wife and the mother of my children. I wonder if she's ever wanted any of that. What if she was all in my head and she wanted to chase the desire of the flesh instead? I'm absolutely stunned with no idea of what to do. If you were in my shoes, what would you have done? What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. Oh my goodness, OP. OP is about to have a heart attack by the sounds of it. Well, it seems like his soon-to-be fiance was up to something very dirty. And she involved somebody in the friend group, so it's going to come crashing down. That I can assure you. There's another update, update 1. It came out 2 months later. But guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel and you like these sort of videos, just know I drop a video every single day, and the best way to watch them is by clicking that subscribe button underneath this video right now. Thanks guys, appreciate that. It does support the channel. Let's see what's going on with OP. 2 months later, update number 1. Hey guys, it's me with an update. So thank you so much for the comments on my original post. It helped me to not feel so alone. I was going crazy thinking about what I saw, and I even got to the point of blaming myself for what she did. After some reflection, I decided that I would not forgive her. I wanted her to feel the shock I felt when I found out the truth. Because of that, I decided not to tell her. What I'm going to do is reveal everything at the wedding. Everyone, including, her family, is going to be present there on that day. She's going to feel incredibly humiliated, and I will be happy about it. Every single day that I've spent with her has made me hate her even more. Every time she kisses me, I wonder if she just kissed her lover. Every time she says she loves me, I wonder if it's a lie. I wonder if she has said I love you to him before, and every time she sends me a selfie of her looking cute, I wonder who else she sent it to. In fact, I wonder if Bradley is the only one that she's been with. What if she's been cheating on me from the very get-go? It's hard to know what's real anymore or not with her. I don't trust her. I'm angry with her for making me such a fool, and I want her to feel my pain. I want her to see every single person she loves look at her with disgust. I want her to lose her friends that she's been with for over 10 years. Maybe only then I'll be satisfied. Maybe only then I'll start to heal the wounds that have given bigger to every day. Only then I'll be able to come to terms with the fact that we don't have a future. We're not going to have a beautiful house with a beautiful kid running around. We're not going to have family dinners, family trips, lazy Sunday picnics. We're not going to have small, petty arguments and then reconcile and make love. All of that will never happen because I can't bring myself to forgive her. In addition to that, I hate the fact that she's not taking the few chances I've given her to tell the truth. I've contacted her about the old hours that she keeps, and she told me not to worry about it, and when I asked her if she would tell me if she was unhappy in our relationship, she assured me, honey, everything is fine. When I told her that I would do anything to make her happy, you know what she tells me? She tells me that she already is happy, and so if she was so happy with me, then why did she have to go to him? I would have done anything for her except the one thing, and is that the reason why she decided to go to him instead of me? Because of that one little boundary, which I told her about at the beginning of the relationship. I gave her a chance to walk away if she would not be able to take the vow of chastity. Why did she have to go back on her word? Maybe I'll ask her these questions on the treatment plan in a couple of days' time. Until then, I'll have to go out, and I promise you one thing is certain. I will update you. Update number 2, 3 days later. Hey guys, it's been 3 days after the update and a day after the wedding. Let me just get into it, yeah. So on the day of the wedding, I sent Debbie a gift. The only gift had a note for her to open it immediately before her wedding, so I entrusted one of the bridesmaids to give the box to Debbie and told her not to let anyone else open it. I had to trust that everything would work out in the way that I planned. My plan was for there to not be a wedding at all. I wanted Debbie to leave and not walk down that aisle. Then I would tell everyone why the bride did not show up and my plan fell through. Somehow, if Debbie walked down the aisle at the exact time that she was supposed to. Immediately I start to message the bridesmaid, trying to ask why she did not receive the gift. But of course I received no response. She was busy, so I knew that I had to object to the wedding as soon as the officiator gave me an opportunity. I waited with bated breath until the moment came for someone to object. Anyone! But the officiator did not say the sentence. In fact, he went straight to asking them if they agreed to the marriage. He asked Bradley first, who immediately said yes, as I waited for an opportunity to stand up and say something. When he asked Debbie, Debbie said no. She did not want to take him in as a husband. Immediately, all the gasps in the air were from the guest. People started murmuring, asking others what the heck's going on, and at that very moment, Debbie turned on her maid of honor, Stacy. She slapped her across the face so hard that she fell into the woman behind her. After that, she took off her ring and threw it at the face of, her soon-to-be ex, and then slapped him. Everything happened so fast that neither of them had any time to react, and that's when she asked them if they really thought that she would have never found out about their little fling, their affair. Immediately, Bradley denied having any sort of affair, and he told Debbie that surely somebody lied because he had never even looked at another woman. She laughed and shoved the picture in his face. She told him that he had done more than look, he had slept with her bestie. And at that moment, Stacy starts wailing and apologizing to Debbie. She went down on her knees and begged Debbie to forgive her. Debbie told her to get the hell away from her because she was going to do something that she would regret, and then she ran out of the church. Next thing I knew, Debbie's brother was beating the pulp out of Brad. And the great part about all this is nobody stopped him. They watched as he was beaten up because he truly deserved it. Meanwhile, Stacy was standing there crying, and when she looked at me, she had the deepest remorse in her eyes. She starts to make her way towards me, but my mother stood in her way. She told her that she had done more than enough, grabbed her hand and dragged her out of the church, and at this point, there was chaos erupting amongst the people asking questions about what the hell's going on in God's church. In addition to that, people are passing along pieces of paper, which turned out to be a picture of Stacy and old Brad. I figured that Debbie must have dropped it when she confronted Bradley, and at this point there was nothing I could do to get that picture out of the grasp of the people. In fact, there was nothing else for me to do regarding the matter. Stacy wanted to talk to me, but I did not give her the privilege. She had several months to tell me the truth, yet chose not to. She only wanted to talk to me because she was sorry she got caught so publicly. And the last thing I said to her before I left was that I did not want to see her. I didn't want to talk to her. Ever. I told her that she broke my trust and was not the person I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. I also told her I hoped that the pain she inflicted on me and Debbie was worth it. As for Bradley, Debbie's brother, had already had his way with him. He was left bleeding out after a well-deserved beating. I'm not one to physically hurt people, so he was lucky in that regard, otherwise I would have finished him off. I left her to deal with the mess that she made. There's still a lot of drama going on after the wedding, but I'll let you know about it as soon as I have the info. For now, I have to go. Final update a month later. This one's a big one. Finally, after months of anguish, I've erased Stacy from my life. It was difficult because she begged me and refused to let go, but I did not fall for those crocodile tears. I said I would tell you what else happened after the wedding, and luckily I now have time to do so. After the wedding, Stacy showed up at my apartment, but I already told security not to let her in. She called and texted me nonstop, but I did not respond. When I woke up in the morning to go to the store, I found her sleeping in the lobby. According to the security, she had refused to leave. I told them to kick her out as soon as she woke up or call the cops on her because there's no way that she's entering my home. When I came back, she was gone. I did not get much reprieve because later on Bradley called me. I had every right to decline that call, but I wanted to hear what that little rascal had to say. Can you believe he had the nerve to apologize to me and tell me that she never meant anything to him and that it was just sleeping around? He will claim that she was the one who approached him. So I asked him if he was so weak that he could not resist her. He said that it was just a mere moment of weakness and that he had been beating himself about it ever since, and so why did he let it continue if he felt so bad about it? To this question, he had no answer. He said that he regretted letting a woman like Debbie go for temporary fun. He told me that Debbie also wanted to wait for marriage, but he found it hard. He and Stacy had opened up about this to each other, which was how the affair started. I told him that they deserved each other and told him to leave me alone. Otherwise, I would forget that I was a non-violent person. The next day, Stacy showed up outside the apartment complex just as I was about to go on a morning run. She begged me to listen to her, hear her out. I got my phone out and showed her the rings which I had been looking at, and after this I confessed that I was still considering marrying her. When I walked into her and Bradley cheating, she was shocked to the core and expressed her regret for not waiting. Well, when I asked her to come and fetch her things at my house, she refused to do it. It was like she still hoped that I would change my mind. So I packed them and curried them to her parents' house, and shortly after that I stopped paying for her course. She was doing a course in caregiving, which I was paying for, and when we started dating, she really hated her job but did not have money to study further, so I supported her. Due to the fact that the relationship was over, I saw no need for me to carry on. Since I had already blocked her, she used another social media account to contact me. She told me that her life was falling apart. She wanted to know why I had stopped paying for her course, because she was so close to being done. She really wanted to change her life, and I had taken that away from her, and you know what my advice was? To tell her to ask Bradley to pay for it since he was her lover. She told me Bradley could not pay for it because, well, for one, he wanted nothing to do with her, and two, his parents disowned him. It turns out that everything, he has basically belongs to his parents and not to him. Even the job that he has is because of his parents, and they were incredibly embarrassed by his actions and just decided to cut him off. I was surprised that he relied on his parents when he used to call himself such a self-made man. But I also revealed, the fact that I was reveling in it. That he deserved this for what he did to me. He deserved to lose everything so he could start over because I had to start over too, bud. I told her that she was not my problem anymore and advised her to ask her family for help. To that, she told me that her family was not even talking to her. She was living in the same house as them, but they could not even look at her. She was actually considering leaving town just to go and stay with her aunt because she felt so uncomfortable in her parents' house. I have no mercy for her because she has done all this to herself. The reason that family and friends don't want to be associated with her anymore is that she chose to be selfish. She could have just broken up with me instead of cheating. She could have gone out there and found a man who gave her what she wanted instead of stealing her best friend's man. Now suddenly I'm supposed to feel sorry for her because people have been harassing her and calling her characterless for what she did. It's been over a month and people have not forgotten about the wedding. Her picture somehow got into the wrong hands and has been circulating. The worst part is that her name is being tarnished and Bradley gets fewer comments. The only comments he get were from people who despised him for cheating on Debbie. All of Stacy's friends took Debbie's side and ended their friendship with her. There's no chance that they'll ever forgive her for what she's done. She's burned all those bridges in town because of her selfishness. As for Debbie, she reached out to me a week ago because she wanted me to thank her for sending the picture to her before she committed herself to Brad. She would have been so devastated if she married him and later found out that he cheated. I expressed to her that the past couple of months have been difficult with keeping their secret. I had wanted to tell her so many times, but I was too angry and wanted to hurt Stacy bad, which is why I ruined the wedding. Debbie said that it was probably for the best because she saw the kind of person she was getting married to firsthand. She told me that they broke up and she's never taking him back. I told her that if she ever needs anything, she could ask me, because I was the only person who knew what she was going through. And right there, our conversation ended. As for myself, I'm moving on. I've deleted all of her pictures and given her back all of her things. Right now, I'm going to focus on my faith and healing. I know it's not going to be easy, but it's possible. I know that one day I will meet someone who will be truly loyal to me and love me more than she ever did.